how do you achieve lasting peace if you do not commit to a fundamental premise that every human is human, that every human is equal? How will they advance into the future on two solid feet without suffering the horrific impacts of the social construct that has been created for their families and what they're living through now?
General, that's a very good question, and thank you for the lead-in to it that address that social construct. We have to do something about those attitudes which stand in the way of Indigenous youth, Indigenous people generally, being able to address their lack of self-respect, if I can call it that, or their sense of imposed inferiority that they've lived with for so long. He lived for a while on the streets of Winnipeg, working with veterans who were on the streets. One of them, my father, essentially to keep them alive. And so we always gave him full credit for helping my father and helping others. Many times I saw Tommy sitting with my dad, telling my dad that he had to learn to love himself. He had to learn to love himself, and that was a hard thing for my dad to do. It's like we're coming out of a situation in which massive numbers of people have been gaslighted into believing that everything that's bad about their lives is their fault. And so we need to begin to address that. I speak to large crowds and speak numerous times across the country about the work of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission and the issue of reconciliation. And at the outset of my presentations, I always wondered, what can I do to get their attention? What can I do to make them see or to make them feel? So I would challenge them. I would say, take out your cell phones and turn them on, and I want you to look at your photographs and bring up the photograph of the youngest child in your family, whether it's your grandchild or your own child or your nephew, a child who is your favorite, a child who you feel a lot of affection for, a lot of closeness to. So bring up that photograph. And so they all do that, and it's actually quite interesting to watch 4,000 or 5,000 people doing that at the same time. And then I say, now I want you to turn to the people beside you on either side of you, and I want you to tell them why you love that child. What is important about that child? And so they'll do that, and I give them 5 or 10 minutes to talk about that, and the buzz in the room becomes quite significant. And then I say, okay, now just pay attention for a few minutes. Now I want you to show me that picture. And so they all turn their cameras to me, and I'm looking at a whole sea of photographs being shown to me. And then I say, now I want you to erase that photo from your phone. And they all say, no, we can't do it. And I say to them, I know why you can't do it. It's like you're eliminating that child from your life. Imagine what it is like for the parents who lost their children to residential schools. Imagine what it was like for the children who went to those schools to have lost their childhood. Now you know what this is all about.
There's something so fundamental, as Senator Sinclair said, as respecting each other, reinforced by James. Only through respect that we will be able to move forward. So my search in the future is, how do I move, and how do we move people to respect each other? And the second dimension of my looking into the future is that it is imperative that research continue to thrive even though the wars are over, and learn from the frictions of the past be it internally in our own country, as the example of the residential schools and the imposition of us with the Indian Act and so on the Aboriginal communities and First Nation communities, as well as us facing conflicts overseas and seeing massive abuses of human rights that even lead to genocide. We must continue to research solutions for peace, but research solutions to attenuate the injuries of those who work and suffer and sometimes even die. But we certainly hope that we've launched it in a pathway that it will be sustainable. That's what I'm looking for in that future. Thank you.